Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I guess good morning. Tuesday morning, right? It's Money Moves here with Wendy Lee. Wendy, how are you doing today?
Doing amazing.
I love it. Always amazing. It's all about the
Love the
mindset.
warmer weather.
I know, right? We've had some craziness going on, hot, cold. And so it's like
Storms.
storms and all kinds of stuff. I lost a huge tree. That was crazy. But not talking about the weather today. We're actually talking about creating a passive stream of income as a retirement plan. So one of the big things that you hear from traditional advisors, and if you followed us, we kind of break the mold, so to speak, as far as trying to teach you how money really works and how you can manage and maximize your retirement strategies. And we're going to talk about that again today, about creating a massive passive income and how that works and why is it different than what traditional advisors are about talking to you about. And so do me a favor, if you want to build wealth, you have friends that want to build wealth, reach out to them real quick. Tell them, hey, Money Moves, John and Wendy are about to talk about some stuff you need to hear about. Share the link and say, hey, go over to blackswanmoney.com and watch this, or drop on our YouTube channel. We're going to get started in just a minute. Hello.
I feel like we just need some at the end of that.
Okay. I know, right? I'm going to start wearing like the gladiator outfit. I don't know what it is about that, but it kind of grew on me. So good deal. So Wendy, let's talk about money moves and looking at retirement. And retirement, folks, just is different for everybody. It's not the old retirement that everybody like, hey, we're retiring at 65 and that's it. That's a magic number. Or for, Gen Z, millennials or whatnot, hey, I'm retiring at 35. It's somewhere in between, and it's all about math, right? And you can retire whenever you want. You can actually retire today if you want. Grab a tent, go out to the wilderness, and hey, knock yourself out, right? May not be the retirement you want, and that's where it starts getting tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, have you kind of started thinking about, I know you have, but I mean, as far as retirement goals, I mean, what when I say retirement, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in the past I've worked with financial advisors, and since I've been like in network marketing, I was building passive income in that world. And so it was always a hard conversation because I'm like, I mean, I made passively 5 figures a month. And I'm like, that's keeps coming. So I wanted to factor that in, but traditional advisors like couldn't understand that. And so I love that we factor that in. But for me, retirement is that financial freedom space where it's like my money and my investments and my businesses are making enough money that I don't have to actually be active and working for it to cover my lifestyle.
Yeah. And that's really what retirement is. And it's almost like, I call retirement in the traditional sense, you think back to when grandma and grandpa, they retired and they were going fishing every day. And I don't really see that as a 21st century retirement. I think more along the lines of you get to come and go as you please and do what you want when you want. And if you want to get paid for it, great. If not, you don't really care because you've got a passive income going into that retirement years, whatever those may be for you. But that's really the key. And so a lot of traditional advisors struggle with that, and they kind of put people down the wrong path, and you go on to spin down mode, right? So you look at all the different things that are going on out there. I know you deal a lot with network marketers or MLM or whatever you want to call it, right? I like network marketing, and it creates that passive income. Traditional business owners, the same thing. If you're the owner, the boss, if you will, you've got other people working for you and stuff, and I'm sure you're taking care of them, but you're obviously receiving some benefits from that as the owner, and that's somewhat of a passive income as well. You're not actually doing the work or trading your time for a paycheck. And so retirement, that evolution in that retirement really kind of falls along those same lines. And what you see in the traditional sense of traditional advisors is they have a solo approach, right? A solo approach of keeping your money in the market, going after aggressive returns. And you'll hear things like, well, it's long-term, so don't watch it, set it and forget it, right? Because they know in the down markets, they don't want to get the phone call from you.
Mhm.
And then the other piece is, to kind of keep it in the market, and how do you protect it and things like that. You're going to experience loss. It is what it is, and that, hey, you'll lose it, but you don't really lose it unless you sell off. So you'll get your money back.
Mhm.
But the big problem with that, and we've talked about that as well. What's more valuable than money?
Time.
Time. You lose that time. That's exactly right. I mean, you look at what happened in the market in 2008. And, I had a traditional advisor at the time. It's before I actually started getting into this, and looked at, they told me the same things. Hey, don't worry about it. You'll get your money back. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Right. And I got my money back. They were not lying to me. That's, don't think that I'm saying that they're lying, but I got my money back in 2013. Right. And so I
Mhm.
lost 5 years, and you can Google this. I mean,
5 years of compound growth.
gone.
Yeah.
And it's not only that 5 years, it's the 20 behind that I was still working at. That money should have been growing over the next 20 years, but it wasn't there to grow because I'd
Mhm.
lost it. Right.
Mhm.
And so you start looking at protected asset classes and stuff like that. You've got a question on protected asset classes, type wealth down below, and we'll schedule time and we'll walk you through what it is and see if it's a right fit for you or not. It may not be. But I like the idea of being able to build wealth and not lose money. And that's one of the things that, going back to the traditional advice, is let's put your money in the market and you're going to take a test, and it's going to be, okay, you're aggressive or you're moderately aggressive or you're, moderate, whatever the case may be. And they're going to put your money in certain strategies and things like that. We hear diversification and things to protect your money. But the problem with that is you get to that retirement age. And if your retirement age is 55 or 50, it's even worse for you, right? Because you're giving up on an entire couple of decades of growth potential.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, and you have longer that you need that money to last you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And if you go the traditional route where you're getting, normally on average, the S&P is somewhere in that 7% plus or minus range, right? And that's 7% average rate of return, and you can Google this, and this is all for educational purposes only. Let me throw that out there. But if you look at that, it's like, okay, well, hey, I can do 7%, 7% a year, blah, 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 blah. The problem is it's not 7% a year. It's sometimes up and sometimes down and loss. And that's going to impact you severely.
Mhm.
And so what happens, in order to protect that money, advisors in the traditional sense will move it into more secure, they call it more secure things, but still in the market.
Right. So when you move into retirement years, they take your money that's maybe growing at 7% and they back it down to something safer that's
Mm-hmm.
growing more like what, 2-3%?
2,
Maybe.
3, 4%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens. You go down to what's called spin down. Okay. Meaning, you work all your life to build up this big pile of cash, and just think of a big pile of cash in your living room, right? And what happens is, because you're getting lower performance now, because they're protecting your money, you're still subject to loss, by the way, in that. They're putting it in more conservative strategies, which are giving you more conservative growth, right? It's kind of, you're told, well, it is what it is. We want to protect your money, don't we? And so the problem with that is, okay, now I'm getting 3, maybe 4% return. And you look at your nest egg, can you live on 3 or 4% interest every year of what you've got in there? And the average person, John and Jane Smith out there have like less than $500,000. So you're not talking a lot of money here.
Mhm.
Not to mention, it's typically in what's called qualified tax accounts. So that's taxable income that you're pulling out. So not only are you're pulling out less, if you're only trying to do the interest only approach, you're being taxed on what you are pulling out. So the problem happens then is, I can't live on 3 or 4%.
Right.
So I start pulling out more. And that's where the number one fear of retirees in the traditional sense is not death, it's outliving your money.
Right.
Because you retire at, 65, 67 for Gen Xers, your full retirement age for Social Security benefits is 67, by the way, in case you didn't know that. But you retire at 67 and your money only lasts 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you're 77, 82. You're probably still
Right.
around, but now you're dead broke.
Yeah. Yep. Which is a lot of people.
You're not going back to work at 84,
Right.
at 83, right? So what do? That's where, okay, now I guess I'm going to move in with my kids or whatever
Right.
the case may be. And that's what you want to avoid. Whereas you can shift that money into protected asset classes, right? Where you've got protection on your money. You protect your car, you protect your cell phone. Why wouldn't you protect your money? Come on. Okay. Well, you
Yep.
look at that now, I'm able to get higher returns, right? The more traditional, backed up to that 7-8%, right, that we were talking about earlier on an index strategy. And you look at that and like, oh, okay, well, I can do that. That's doable. My money's now going to last longer. Not to mention, if you've got the right counselor or coach or advisor, whoever you're working with, planner, I hope to God they're talking about how to get to a tax-free strategy in your retirement years, right? And why is
Mhm.
that a big benefit?
Well, one, who knows what taxes are going to be
I think I
by the
know.
time I retire. I'm assuming they won't be as low as they are now, right?
Correct. Correct.
Um, and we don't have as many write-offs when we're older,
No.
right? Right now, I got my kids. I got kids in college. I got, people can write off mortgage interest. Like there's all
No.
these things, all these write-offs. And then in your retirement years, you don't have those.
You're left with a standard deduction.
And
That's
people
it.
don't realize the impact. I've started to like study this with you and with our book clubs and see like the impact of taxes on retirement money that's not in these protected asset classes. And it's scary
Mm-hmm.
how
It
much
is.
people lose.
And most people that we talk to are middle America, right? That's who we're out there trying to help,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I've got high net worth clients, don't get me wrong, love them. But the people that need the help are, and I'm talking, not broke people. I'm talking
Right.
people making between 75 and 200,000 in income. I mean, they're doing okay, but
Mm-hmm.
we're not taught this stuff in school. So what are we taught? Hey, you're going to save your money, you're going to put it away, and you're going to put it in your 401k, or if you're a business owner, you've got a CPA chirping in your ears. We need to save money on taxes. You need to put more money in your IRA. And they're not lying to you. Again, they're not lies, because you are technically saving money that year, today. But pull back to the 50,000 foot level and look at, are you saving taxes in general? And the answer is hell no, you're not, because you're going to end up paying the piper down the road when you've lost all those other things and things like that. And that's where it starts to get into really, okay, how do I make my money last longer? And that's where you look at a holistic policy, a diverse policy that includes everything, including the protected asset classes, so you continue to get good growth during your retirement years, not up to the retirement years. Because if you do it the traditional way, you're literally surrendering good growth for 20, 25 years during your retirement years. And you need to ask yourself, A, can I afford that? With what I've got in there, can I afford that? And B, do I really want to give up 25 years of growth?
So if we use this strategy that you're talking about, and I'm putting money in, and then I love the way you describe this, because for me, it's like visual. So I'm the person, for the audience, I'm the person that did not understand how money works at all. And the thing that I've loved about working with John is he makes it really simple with analogies. But that, that pile of cash, right? Instead of building the pile of cash and using it in retirement, we're building a goose, you say, that lays eggs, and we live off the eggs. We never touch the goose, right?
Yeah.
So you build a pile of cash that is now protected, so it can keep making good money, good interest, and we can live off of that instead. And when you run the numbers and the illustrations we do for clients, like it's really powerful to see what you can build in, over, especially if you get started early. I mean, I got started really late. I think I started this when I was 40. But yeah, so, but it's exciting and it's empowering when you can see it, and to have a plan moving forward and to feel good about it, and to have that security that I'm not going to run out of time. I'm not going to outlive my money.
Well, and that's the key. And it all unfortunately goes back to, how traditional advisors are paid. That's why they want your money in, the traditional AUM world, assets under management world. But it's one of those things that you need to really look at what's best for you and what's best for you long term. I mean, think about it. You get started when you're 40, for example, and you retire at, say, 65, just to use even math. That's 25 years of growth. And then you've got to get everything done in 25 years to build that big pile of cash that you're going to spend down over the next 25 years. So think about that math. I mean, okay, you got to create 25 years enough wealth to go 50 years. And, it's really, the numbers start, falling apart. And that's where, because of the low returns in retirement in the traditional sense. But if you can manage to, hey, I want to grow for 25 years and I'm still going to get great return, and you build this money machine, right? And this is what I talk to my clients about, is building them a money machine that's going to pay them an income interest, right? Every month or every year or whatever the case may be. And that's what you live on. That's what she was referring to when it was referring to, you don't eat the goose, you just eat the golden eggs every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
The interest.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, if your interest isn't high enough, if your returns aren't high enough,
Right.
then you've got to eat into the goose. And every time you take a bite of that goose, that means the eggs get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's why people run out of money in retirement. So that's what you want to make sure you sit down and have a plan that's going to show you how to build your money machine, where you can get good returns, not only up to retirement, but all the way through retirement.
Right.
And added tax benefits on top of that means you pull out less money. So you need the eggs can actually be smaller, and you're still coming out way ahead of the game.
Yep.
And that's where the light bulbs start going off. So if you've got questions on what your strategy is doing or where your strategy's at, or you want a comparison, do us a favor down below in the comments, type the word wealth, or reach out to us at Black Swan Money or Wendy Lee Online and let you say, hey, I saw your podcast, I saw your YouTube. I want to know more about this wealth. What do I need to do to sit down? We'll do a free consultation with you and show you, hey, you're looking good, or no, you've got a lot of situations, but it's better to find out now than the day you're walking out of your job and retiring, right?
Yeah, don't let avoidance destroy your future.
Exactly. Don't let fear destroy your future, right? And just face it, figure out what's going on, so that way you can be empowered and do something about it. But that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because I've seen that like 3 or 4 times where people are in retirement or headed in retirement. So, well, what can I do? I'm like, well, there's still stuff we can do for you. But, you know, the concern is, why weren't you talking about this 10, 15 years ago with your advisor? And, you know, unfortunately, we're trying to get the word out now to you 30 to 40-year-olds, 40 to 50-year-olds. Hey, do something now while you still have plenty of time. So reach out to us. Let us know. Hopefully you got something out of this. Do us a favor. Click that little subscribe button, that like button down below. Show some love. Come on. And share it with your friends. The whole point of this is for you to watch it, to learn something from it, subscribe to it so you can get the updates, and share it with your friends. We've got almost 50 videos. I think this is video 49. So we're like right there.
I think
50.
actually this is the 1-year anniversary of our Facebook Lives.
You're probably right. I think we missed a couple in there. We were kind of getting the technology down. But anyway, it's been great. I look forward to another fantastic year in front of us as we get better and better and start bringing more value to the table. And if there's a topic you want to hear about it, reach out to us and let us know. We'd be more than happy to kind of create a topic for you. So if you've got a question that you want to know about this, let us know and we'll do a video on it. So again, Wendy, thanks. Have a great day. And everybody out there, you know, again, make your money moves. Don't let somebody else just tell you what you do and hope it works out. Take action, get empowered, get some knowledge. Let us help you get from point A to point B and make sure your dreams come true. All right. Thanks, everybody.